In this video, we are going to study regarding uh, different kind of testing in system testing, right? So we know in the last video we actually completed the study of the integration testing, right? So in the integration testing, was a major part only we actually studied integration testing. So before going to learn about integration testing further, we should have some introduction regarding system testing. People know, right? There are three kind of different kind of testing: unit testing, integration testing, as well as systems testing, right? So unit testing is nothing but the model testing, the unit testing. So if your project consisting of 20 different programs, each program is considered as a module unit, right? So if you are going to check that particular individual program, then you can consider it as a model test, right? So what is actually integration testing? Integration is something but we'll combine we will combine the module and we are going to test. Here also we study different approach of in different strategy of test, like bottom up approach, top down approach, a big bang approach, a sandwich approach, right? So that is regarding the integration testing. So now in this video we're going to study regarding what exactly the system testing, acceptance testing, as well as regression testing and all. Okay. So before going to study, before going to know the complete concept of system testing and all, we should know the difference between system testing, acceptance testing, and regression testing. Okay, this is the introduction. Start from this point. The introduction start. People should know the distinction between each uh, kind of this kind of test. Right? We know that the majorly we have unit testing, integration testing, and system testing only, right? But in the system testing also we have another kind of approaches, like acceptance testing as well as regression testing, right? So even though the acceptance as well as regression test is a part of system testing, so we have a clear distinction between these three. Okay, so what is actually system testing? Actually, this system testing checks against requirement specification. Right? The requirement specification and all. So it checks against requirement specification. Whereas this acceptance test checks suitably for user needs. Okay. So what exactly the user wanted? That is going to check whether the user is going to accept the product or not. What is the a need of a particular user? So it's going to check that one. Where this regression testing is rechecking. It's nothing but rechecking. Rechecks test cases passed by previous production version. So regression is nothing but recheck. That's it. Okay. So this usually the system testing is performed by development test group, whereas this acceptance test is performed by test group with user involvement. Okay. So in the system testing there is no involvement of a user, but in this acceptance test there are a certain user, they are going to be a part of this acceptance test. Okay. Coming to the regression test, this regression test is performed by development test group. Okay, of course both system as well as regression test is performed by development test groups. What is the clear difference between the system test as well as regression test? Where regression test is nothing but rechecking. Okay, and coming to the system testing, it verifies correctness and completion of a product. Okay, it will go to verify the correctness of a product as well as completeness of a product, whereas the acceptance test validates. System testing verifies, where acceptance test validates usefulness and satisfaction with the product, whether the product is valid or not, whether the product is useful or not. So it's going to check this kind of requirement. Okay, whereas this regression test guards against unintended changes. Okay, it will go into guards against if there is any unintended changes happen. Unintended means unwanted changes happen. It will go into change. It going to avoid this kind of changes. Okay, so let's go one by one. What is exactly the system testing and all, and what is acceptance test, what is regression test and all. Okay, so let's discuss about system test. So system testing is a check of consistency between the software system and its specification. Okay, right? So if you want to define what exactly the system testing is, nothing but it's a checking of consistency, okay, between the software system and the specification. So it's going to check whether the software system, after completion of a system, whether it is according to the specification or not. Okay, right. Like unit and integration testing, system testing is primarily aimed at uncovering faults, right? It's going to uncover the faults. If there is any errors, even though in system testing, it's going to identify those kind of faults. The essential characteristics of system testing are that it is comprehensive, based on a specification of observable behavior and independent of design and implementation decision. Okay, so the essential characteristics nothing but it's comprehensive. So comprehensive nothing but it's actually independent from other factors. Okay, and also it's based on observable behavior. Okay, what you are actually going to see, that is only is going to matter. That's why observable behavior, and is supposed to be independent for design and implementation. There is no factor which affects the system testing. If you want to check the design, there is no connection between there is no dependency between design as well as implementation, and design implementation with respect to system testing. Okay, system testing can be considered the culmination of integration testing. You can consider it as a continuation or culmination of a integration testing. Okay, this is a major introduction related to system test. So after completion of a system, we're going to check whether the actual system is according to its initial specification or not. Okay, even though if it is error, if there is any errors occur during the system testing, it's going to detect those kind of errors and going to remove those kind of errors. Okay, and also it's based on observable behavior, comprehensive observable behavior, and it's independent from design as well as implementation. These are the major point you people should remember. Okay, the system test suite may share some test cases with test suite used in integration and even unit testing. Okay, so there is system, you people know, right, what is test suite? Test suite is nothing but a collection of test cases. Okay, it's something like book, which is actually a collection of units, right? A book is there, that is a collection of different chapters. In the same way, a test suite is nothing but a collection of test cases. Okay, so this thing, the system test suites actually may be a part of integration as well as unit testing. Okay, however, the essential characteristics of independence implies that test cases developed in close coordination with design and implementation may be unsuitable. So we already discussed, right? There is no independency between design implementation and system testing. If there is any test cases which is related to design and implementation, those test cases are actually unsuitable. Okay, the overlap should result from using system cases only, okay, rather than reusing unit and integration test cases in the system test suites. Okay, there may be a overlap between those integration test as well as system test. Okay, sorry, integration as well as unit test. Okay, these are all some extra points you can add when you're writing about system testing. Okay, so even in Agile development process, Agile in the sense the old way of developing a software. Okay, it is considered good practice to design test cases for a new feature before implementing the feature. So even though if you are actually before implementing a new feature, you can prepare the test cases for the future, okay, that particular product. When the time between specifying a feature and implementing it is longer, early design of system tests facilitates risk-driven strategy that expose critical behavior to system test cases as early as possible, avoiding unpleasant surprises. So the meaning is, if you develop test cases early, then even though if there is any delay occurs between specifying a feature as well as implementing the feature, then that actually can't affect much. Okay, even though if it is if there is an delay, or if it is takes longer time, this early design of system test actually helps the risk driven strategy. Okay, that's why it's very important to develop test cases before its implementation. Okay, that is a major point. They have given one example for illustrating that one. They have taken the same imaginary chipmunk company. Okay, assume that a company is the chipmunk development of web-based purchasing. So here in this company, some questions were raised during the requirement specification regarding point at which a price change becomes effective. Okay, for example, a company is there. Okay, that is a web-based online purchase company. Just assume that it's something like Flipkart. Okay, so in example, if an item's catalog price is raised or lowered between the times it is added to the shopping cart and time of actual purchase. Okay, assume that some big billion days or some festival session is going on. So in this session, what will happen? So when you actually trying to buy the particular product, you actually select the product and you put that product into your cart. Okay, something assume that you actually purchase some book. Okay, that actually the price of that book is 100 rupees. Okay, when you put that at the time when you actually put that book into your cart, the price actually it's 100 rupees. Okay, so during the checkout, when you actually going to pay for that particular book, or there may be a possibility like that the amount of that book may go high, like 150 rupees or 160 rupees, or it may go low, something like 70 rupees or 80 rupees, something like, okay, due to the festival festival session festival season. Okay, so in this festival season, if the particular book, assume that the price actually goes below during the checkout. So during the checkout, which amount the customer needs to pay, whether it is 100 rupees or whether it is 80 rupees. So this kind of questions may arises. Okay, that's why they have given here. The requirement was clarified and documented with a set of use cases in which outcomes of various interleaving of customer actions and price changes were specified, and each of these scenario becomes a system test case specification, right? So these are all actually recorded. Okay, each session what actually the user is doing, it is considered as a use cases. Okay, so these use cases are actually documented in the form of specifications. So they have studied this behavior. So even though if this kind of changes happens, they know what actually they need to pay. Of course, they need to pay the change amount. Whether if it is a lower amount, they need to pay the lower money. If it is higher amount, they need to pay the higher money. Okay, so that's why they have mentioned some kind of specification through the use cases. Okay, so the importance in system testing are with respect to the system specification and potential user of scenario rather than code and design. Of course, rather than code and design, only we need a system specification during the system testing. So each feature or specified behavior of the system should be accounted for in one or several test cases, right? So in addition to facilitating design for test, designing system test cases together with system requirement specification document helps expose ambiguity and even specifications. Okay, so if you actually you know addition to facilitating a design code, so designing the system test cases together with the system requirement. Okay, you are actually designing the system test cases with the requirement specification. Then if there is any error, you can easily cut the error. If you simultaneously design that system test cases with the system requirement, then it is very easy to easily uh, find the errors. That is the major point. So this is another version of system testing example. This is general version. I also mentioned here the same thing. So what actually I have written, right? This is related to your uh, book. Okay, book example. This is related to your general example. If you want to study further, you can study and clarify your doubt regarding system testing. But it's a general thing. Okay, system testing is most often the final test to verify the system to be delivered meets the specification and its purpose. It tests both functional as well as non-functional aspects of the product. It is started once unit testing, component testing, integrated testing are completed. System testing is carried out by specialist testers or independent testers. Okay. Of course, it is performed on the basis of written test cases, of course, according to information collected from system requirement specification and detailed design documents. It ensures that the product is ready for moving to the user acceptance test levels. Okay, so after system testing completed, then it's ready to go for acceptance test. Okay, this is the last chance for the system or test team to find any remaining product defects before the product is handed over to the customer. So before going to deliver the product into customer, here the system test cases ensure you that you need to make sure that all the faults are removed from uh, the program or the system. Okay, it's actually last last chance actually. So if you want to know why it's needed, so it will actually bring in customer perspective. Okay, build confidence in the product, of course, analyze and reduce risk of the releasing product, ensure product is ready for acceptance testing. These are all some points. These are all general thing. I if you want to study further, you can study this one. These are all general thing. Why actually it's needed enough. Okay, so these are actually different types of system testing: alpha testing, beta testing, and of course acceptance testing is considered as a, another version of system testing. Okay. Alpha testing, of course, no need to write this kind of points here. Just assume it's like this test takes place at the U developer set. This is one point, and this alpha testing is testing of an application when development is about to complete. Right? When a product is actually in the verge of completing, we are going to conduct this alpha testing. Minor design changes can still be made as result of alpha testing. Okay. Alpha testing, right? This alpha testing is typically performed by the group that is independent of the design team, of course. It's a special team, but still within the company, of course. For example, quality assurance engineers may be a part of this alpha testing. So, alpha testing is final testing before the software is released to the general public. It has two phases actually. So in the first phase of alpha testing, the software is tested by in-house developers. Okay, they use either debugger software or hardware system debuggers, and the goal is to catch bugs quickly. Okay, the second phase, what actually they are going to do, the software is handed over to the software quality assurance staff. Okay, the staff for additional testing in an environment that is similar to the intended use. First is the in-house developer. Second phase, they have handed over this software into the quality assurance staff. Okay. Another one is beta testing. It takes place at customer side. Okay. The alpha testing takes place at where the developer side, right? But this is takes place at customer side. It is the system testing performed by the selected group of friendly customers. Okay. Those who already selected from the company, they are responsible for this system beta testing. You people know, right? Beta versions testing and all. It sends the system to users who install it, use the software in testing mode, that is not live users, right? A beta test is the second phase of software testing in which a sampling of the intended audience tries the product out, right? Beta is the second letter of of course the Greek alphabet, right? Of course, alpha, beta, gamma. So originally the term alpha test means the first phase of testing in a software development process, right? The first phase includes unit testing, component testing, and system testing, where beta testing can be considered as a pre-release testing. So after before releasing the product, it's hand over to the selected users. They're going to perform this test whether it is eligible for release for market. Okay. The goal of beta testing is to place your application in the hands of real users outside of your own engineering team to discover any flaws or issues from the user's perspective that you would not want to have your final released version of the application. Right? That is our final goal. If you want to know the difference between alpha and beta, of course, alpha it's in developer side, beta is performed at customer side. Alpha conducted in controlled environment with developer, while beta is conducted in the environment that cannot be controlled by the developer. Of course, only selected user can do the beta testing. So during the alpha testing, developers records errors and usage problem. During the beta testing, customer records all the problem and submit report to the developers for modification requirement. Right? So in the next video, we can see what another phase of system testing, that is nothing but acceptance testing.